Hey, what is happening, everyone? My name is Sean Pai, here today to talk to you about my very first US convention experience, Dragon Con, which was in Atlanta, Georgia just last week. Cue the intro. Alright, so in this video I'm going to talk about what Dragon Con is, the measures the convention took for 2021, who I am as a cosplayer, how I ended up going to Dragon Con, who I cosplayed at Dragon Con, my experiences at the convention, and a bit of like the vendor hall experience and my overall thoughts and takeaways of the convention as a whole. Alright, so Dragon Con is an annual cosplay convention event that brings together geeks, nerds, weaves, basically all the coolest things in the world into a convention right across Labor Day weekend every single year. And from what I know, other than like New York Comic Con and San Diego Comic Con, I think it's probably one of the largest conventions in North Atlantic or in America. So it's always been a dream of mine to attend this convention, and I'm so very happy that I finally got a chance to. Also, I do realize that I kind of smile a lot, and that's just my nature, so it might come off a bit weird, but it's normal. Sorry about that. I always like to have a very positive and optimistic tone and spirit about everything that I do. So yeah, smiling. Alright, and before we get into all of that, hello, my name is Sean Price, also known as Sean Pai. I'm an anime lover, fitness enthusiast, geek, nerd, weeb, basically all of the above. I was born in the Philippines, and then I moved over to the US when I was 5 or 6, so I grew up basically in California, and as I was growing up I loved watching Naruto, Bleach, One Piece, Death Note, just all the anime I could get my hands on, and ever since then I've been the biggest weeb on the planet. I love anime so much. And so when I was 18, I moved over to the Philippines to play basketball in college and to get my education there. Hello, buy student debt. And it was a lot of fun, and that's when I experienced my love and joy and passion for cosplaying. I had some really amazing friends who taught me or showed me the way, and it was just a great deal of fun to experience the culture there and to try out one of the passions that I've always wanted to try. And so now I just moved back to the US about a couple months ago because I finished college and I worked there for a little bit, but it was time to pretty much move back home since I do feel really at home with the culture in the US since I grew up here. And so I attended my first convention, which was Dragon Con. I'm so excited to tell you about my experiences. Dragon Con 2021 is definitely going to be much more different than most convention experiences because of COVID and all the crazy stuff and restrictions and difficulty in traveling and all of the above. And so it was definitely one of the reasons why I was hesitant to go. And part of what made me a little bit more comfortable in going is seeing the lengths the convention organizers went through to try and make it as safe as they could. Granted, you can't make anything 100% safe in this world. Even a year from now, we might still have the full, the greatest vaccine where there's no COVID anymore, but there will always be 1, 2, or 3 or a few that slip by. But I'm glad that at the very least, masks were always required everywhere that you went, especially indoors and even outdoors. People walking around between the hotels, you could see a lot of people wearing their masks, which was amazing. And I also liked how before getting your badge, you needed to show either proof of full vaccination, or you needed to take a negative COVID test there on the spot, or an approved one showing that you did not have COVID. So on Twitter, I did see some people saying that one person said that they got their tests, were shown as positive, and then left right away. So I'm at least glad that they posted online that they were positive and to watch out, and that they left right away. But other than that, based off all the people that I met, my new friends, and all the online postings, people have been taking COVID tests after getting back from Dragon Con, and thankfully no one's been positive. So I think that's awesome. I think overall the con was a huge success. And they usually have around 80,000 people spread across this convention. That's like 5 or 6 different hotels: the Hilton, the Marriott, the Marriott Marquis, the wow, I'm like forgetting the names. Hilton, Marriott, you know what? I'm just gonna put it up there. I'm forgetting it. I don't know why, but thankfully, so there's usually 80,000 people. This time there's about 40,000 people, and still it went really well, and there was a lot of social distancing. There was no one was like really super close to each other all the time, and overall I think they just did a great job with the convention, and I'm very happy at how it went. Oh yeah, and speaking of getting your badge, so Dragon Con was a 5-day convention, and I'll go a little bit more into that later. And so for day like 0 on Wednesday, and even on a Thursday when people, or day 1 when they're getting their badges, there was apparently a really super long line, and it lasted for an hour or 2 hours, maybe longer. Fortunately, I didn't have to go into that line because I arrived the day after. Well, I arrived Thursday night, but then I went to get my badge on Friday morning at around 9 or 10 a.m., I think. And there was like 20 people in front of me, and it was the shortest line ever. And I maybe stood in line for 5 minutes, so that was amazing. So I guess this is a tip. If you're going to go to Dragon Con, if you're in a hotel already, then you're allowed into the hotels anyways because you are a guest at the hotel. If not, I would just recommend just wait the extra day and get your badge the day after. So when I got my badge, they gave us choices between 2 different lanyards. There's either a Willy Wonka type lanyard, which had a lot of bright colors, and there's a Mandalorian type lanyard, which of course I love Mandalorian, so I got the Mandalorian one, and this is what it looked like. It's really cool. I enjoyed it a lot. It has like a "This is the way" Dragon Con, which is so awesome, and it's just really awesome. It's really cool. And here's the badge. It's all sparkly and holographic, so it's amazing. And then they print your name and where you're from, and then these are little flares that people were giving out at the convention. So if you were walking around, people usually had flares, and if you asked them for one, they'd give it to you. And someone just went up and gave me this one. It says "Heaven's Official Blessing," which I think is a game, but either way I like it. It's cute. So that was awesome. The badges look great, and people were saying that the top parts tend to break off, and so you'd want to reinforce that, but I guess I never had issues with mine because I was just very careful with it all the time, and so it never really broke off, so that wasn't a problem for me. Alright, quick story. So I originally was supposed to go to Dragon Con, but then I backed out a little bit because I was really concerned, not just about COVID, but also about like, I'm very new to the US, so I don't know many people. I don't have many friends here other than people I interact with on Instagram and stuff like that. I know basically nobody. I knew one person, one friend, who was gonna go to the convention. So they were always like, hey, you should go. I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm still a little concerned. But then eventually I just caved in, and I decided, you know what? Screw it. I booked my ticket like a few days before the convention. I think it was a Tuesday, and then I was flying in on Thursday, so it was very short notice. But then I went to the convention because, you know what? One thing that I always like to live by in life is that if you have an opportunity and a chance to do something, just go do it. You never know what's going to happen. If it's a great, amazing, positive thing, then heck yeah, dude, that's great. But if it's negative and bad, doesn't turn out well, hey, that's a learning experience that you can then apply to your life and make the next experience even better. So it's always just a win-win if you look at it in that kind of a way. So I was like, you know what? Why not? Let's go. Let's try out Dragon Con. Let's go for it. And so I booked my ticket. I left at 6 in the morning, got to the airport at 9, got on my flight at 11, went over to forgot where, but I did a connecting flight, and then so I didn't arrive Dragon Con till 6 p.m. And I'll tell you what, this was like Thursday at 6, which is basically day 1. People were already on the streets in their costumes and in the hotels walking around and basically partying. I heard that on day 0, which was Wednesday night, people are already partying and having fun and like going crazy. Because Dragon Con's apparently a party convention, and so when I heard that, I was like, okay, cool, they hang out a lot, they have fun, like that's awesome. But I didn't really get what they meant by party convention. Like, they go crazy every single night. Wednesday night, they were out drinking and having fun. Thursday night, which is where I was there were already massive giant parties, and people were going crazy because, you know, tomorrow's the weekend, so there's nothing to worry about. And then Friday night, even more parties, and you know what? The day after is the weekend still, so there's nothing to worry about again. Every morning at 3 in the morning, there was a different kind of rave happening, which was absolutely insane. And I remember a Heroes and Villain Ball that I went to too, which was a lot of fun that I'll talk to you about a little bit later. And so the first character that I cosplayed at Dragon Con was actually Dio from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and that character is I've cosplayed him in many other conventions, especially in Southeast Asia, and I've always had a good time because you don't see many DOs around, and whenever you see a JoJo character, for me, I go insane when I see JoJo characters. I get so happy and so excited, and I go up to there and I just strike poses, and we end up talking, and I end up making a friend, and it's just always a good experience seeing JoJo characters. And another one I cosplay too, which I actually did before Dio, was my Julius Novachrono from Black Clover, and Black Clover is like today's version of Naruto for me, because it's just such a great shonen where it gives me the vibes I had when I was younger and watching Naruto, but now it's a newer one, and like they have magic knights, which are kind of like squad captains, like the Jonin in Naruto, and it's just so cool. Like there's so many cool things about it, and Julius Novachrono is definitely my favorite character ever because of how optimistic and kind and passionate and awesome and cool he is, and I just think he's amazing. And sorry, I'm ranting a little bit, but anyways, those are the two characters I cosplayed, Dio from JoJo and then Julius from Black Clover. Alright, like I mentioned earlier, when I first walked around in costume, I was basically by myself and I did not know anyone at all. It was so crazy because everywhere I looked, I would just see amazing cosplays and really cool people who look like they're having a great time, but then I'd just be on the side and be like, I'm here just, just vibing and thriving, just chilling. and then so I walked around for a bit, and eventually I made friends. Like, it's just so crazy to talk about. People were just so kind and genuine and friendly and positive that they went up to you and they're like, wow, your cosplay is great, or they just strike up a conversation. Oh man, it was just so cool how awesome and friendly everyone was. And I remember one story of me walking around and I saw this amazing Naruto cosplayer, and her makeup was incredible, and she was with someone else who I know is her husband, Vlad, who also had a Naruto cosplay, the same one, so they looked amazing. And so I went up to her and I was like, look, your makeup is incredible and your cosplay is awesome, because I love Naruto. I'm a big Naruto fan. And then so after that, like, she was just like, oh, your JoJo cosplay is awesome too. I love JoJo. And we're like, oh my god, we have the same interests. And then so I became friends with her. Her name is JJ. Her and Vlad are the best people ever. They're so much fun. They're so optimistic and cool and really fun to be around. And then I didn't think of it too much. We added each other on Instagram, and it was just a really cool experience. We each got selfies, so we were really happy. And then later that night, they messaged me and say, hey, are you gonna party? You want to hang out? And I'm like, oh my god, yes, of course I do. And then so I went with them, and then we just went around the whole night, going from party to party, doing different things. We went to this heroes and villains ball kind of like dance party thing where they played a lot of old school like music from back in the day, and it was like throwback music, and that was the most fun party. Everyone in like heroes and villains cosplay, just jumping around, having fun, dancing, and just having a good time. It was so cool. And a lot of other parties they had too was like this night at Alderaan party for Star Wars cosplayers, which happened at the same time as the heroes and villains, so I didn't get a chance to go to that one, but it sounded really, really cool, and I wish I did. But I don't regret going to the heroes one for sure. So there was another one also that it was apparently there was this private bounty hunters cafe too for Star Wars bounty hunters, and like cantina, and I thought that was a really cool idea too. And then there was raves at 3 in the morning, like I mentioned, and pretty much the crazy thing about Dragon Con is like everywhere you go there's a party. I went outside the hotel and on the streets people were partying. And then I went from different parts, from like the Marriott to the Hilton. There was a party in the Hilton, and I went to the Sheraton. There's a party in the Sheraton. Like, it's just crazy. You go from door to door, and every other door sometimes they're open. People are just partying and having fun, and so it was insane. Probably the thing that I would differentiate the most from my experiences is for US conventions, you need a lot more stamina. And the reason why I say that is because for my convention experience in the Philippines and Singapore, the cons would be about 3 days long, so from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And most people would come on Saturday, and I think, yeah, actually no, most people would come on Sunday, because Sunday's like the family day, so everyone's able to be out a lot more. And there's not as much like partying after the convention, which is why Sunday's a big day, and Saturday is like so-so. And with this convention, which really surprised me, is that it was 4 days long, which was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday. Oh wait, no, 5 days. It was Monday. So it was from Thursday to Monday. But people were partying on Wednesday night and partying every single night and day. It was like its own vacation experience. And so you need so much stamina in these conventions, and they really if you're an extrovert, you will so thrive if you are at these, because you'll have all your energy that you can finally use, because we've been holding up our energy for so long because of the pandemic, but now there are opportunities to use it. So that's really cool. And if you're an introvert, that's also really awesome, because you'll find other introverts who for some reason get like accelerated into their extrovertism because of these conventions. When you see so many happy and passionate people around you, it just makes you a little bit more energetic and a little bit more happier and passionate too. But maybe that's just me talking as an empath, and like I really like feel people and like absorb their emotions. But that's how I kind of felt about the con. Like, you needed a lot of stamina, but if you had that enough stamina, oh boy, it was insane. It was so cool. Okay, so my new friends JJ and Vlad, they sent me a message on Instagram that there was an anime meetup happening at the rooftop of the Hilton, I believe. And the rooftop of the Hilton is really cool because it's just giant roof deck with a stairs going up, so people, cosplayers, could then take positions on the stairs and have really cool photo shoots. And there's like an outdoor deck where people are partying, and there's like a DJ stand that was elevated, so it looked really, really cool. I don't have a picture of it, I wish I did, but it looked awesome. And then so there was a big anime meetup happening, and when I was Dio and I went there, I was so surprised to see so many other Jojo cosplayers, and we all just vibed so instantly well. And here are some really cool photos of our cosplays together. And man, Jojo cosplayers, let me tell you, they have the most energy, and they are so passionate. And like, I guess when you have to do all those crazy poses all the time, it really brings the energy out of you. And it was just so much fun connecting and hanging out with them and talking about JoJo and talking about how like the new JoJo's coming out soon. And yeah, it was great. There was also a video game meetup, so I got to see a lot of people from like Fallout, and from someone cosplay from Doom, which was really cool, and then from Gears of War, Halo. Everyone looked so sick. Like, seeing all these anime or video game cosplayers come to life was amazing for me. And then also there was a Critical Role meetup, because I love Dungeons and Dragons. I missed out on this. I didn't know they were having one, but in the Critical Role meetup, everyone cosplayed from each of the campaigns, and Sam Riegel showed up and took photos with everyone there. He didn't even announce that he was going to Dragon Con. He just showed up and wanted to hang out with the Critical Role cosplayers for a bit. And I only saw this on Twitter that it happened, and I'm so incredibly jealous that I missed out on seeing Sam Riegel, and I didn't know there was a Critical Role meetup. Oh man. But yeah, that was really cool, and I'm happy that he does these kind of things, and that just shows like how genuine a person he is. And there are a lot of other people that went as guests. Speaking of which, I have here, they gave this to us when we picked up our badges, which are like Dragon Con official program books and like start guides. And in these guides was like all the things that were happening, and they also showed the different kind of guests that were showing up. And there was a lot of guests from Battlestar Galactica, like Jamie Bomber, he came. So was James Callis. He also went. He was Gaius Baltar, one of my favorite characters ever. And Felicia Day was there, and I'm missing some other like really cool names, because I know there's a guy there also from the 100 who came, and I can't quite remember his name. But anyways, that was really cool. A lot of guests still managed to come. I know the guest list was much higher before, but I guess with the Delta stuff and different types of things happening, it did get a little bit lower, but there was still an amazing amount of celebrities that went, which was really cool to see. I also want to give a quick shout out to all the amazing people that I met there, and I'm definitely not going to be able to get all of them, but I hope I can get at least some. So first there was Lauren Dragneel, who did an amazing Velma cosplay, and when she saw me, she immediately started doing the JoJo poses, so I was like, okay, person of culture, let's go. And so really nice to meet her. There was also a couple called Kelsey and Tanner, and I met Kelsey on Instagram because I commented on one of her posts about attending Dragon Con in the JoJo capacity, and then then I didn't think we would actually meet, but lo and behold, we found each other at the convention at the rooftop, and I was like, hey, you look familiar, and then yeah, we remembered, so that was a really cool thing. And then there was a G1 as Diavolo and Mills as Bruno, part of the Jojo, so I'll put G1 there. And then I'll put Mills over there. And then all the other amazing Dio cosplayers too. There were a bunch, male and female Dio cosplayers. A lot of female Dio cosplayers, which is the coolest thing ever. I love seeing that. And then also, especially JJ and Vlad. Shout out to you two. JJ did her Caesar cosplay, and then Vlad did his Joseph Joestar cosplay. Those two are incredible. They're amazing power couple, so really awesome meeting you guys. Quick short story, on my way to the vendor hall, I looked very lost and confused, and then I ended up meeting another person who was also on the way to the vendor hall. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say their names, so I won't for now. And he was so very genuine and cool, and we talked about how this was my first US convention experience, and we were both going to the same place, and we just from a quick hello on the street, we became friends, and we were in the convention hall going through all 5 floors together for like a couple hours. So that just like is a very small testament to how friendly people are and how outgoing they are, and how you can directly impact and be impacted with and by others in like just like that. In a span of a few seconds, you can make a friend, and that was awesome. That's really cool. Aside from the 5 to 6 different hotel spaces, there was also this giant commercial center, which was about 5 stories tall, called America's Mart, I think. And it was just 5 floors of vendor space. And they had everything from cool prints and magazines to different types of props and armor and like leather stuff and posters and handmade maps, a lot of like Dungeons and Dragons dice and books, and there was a lot of authors there too. It was just crazy, and there was a lot of like pop-up art basically, and a lot of like trinkets that you could bring home, and a lot of cool stuff you can get. And one of them was this guy by the name of Janigami, and he saw I had Dio, and he was like, you have to take a picture. And then so he basically gave me these at cost, and they're so cool. Look at these Dio prints, man. They're amazing. And they're what do you call it? They're holographic? Yeah, they're holographic Dio prints. And these are one of my favorite convention hall experiences that I got. This is really cool. And aside from those two, there was another really cool artist who's probably my favorite artist when I think of like custom made print stuff. And his name was BD Judkins. I'm thinking right now. And when he saw my Dio, he instantly recognized it. He loved it. He took a photo, and he even posted it on his Instagram and Twitter. So thank you, BD Judkins. You're amazing. He's at Ukiyo Pop Art on Instagram, and I'll show a picture of that too, of the photo he posted of us. And so these were his creations. So what they basically were Japanese inspired anime stuff, which is funny because anime is already Japanese, but this is kind of like it. It's like old school Japanese style art, but for anime. So this is Full Metal Alchemist, as you can see, with Edward and Al. And oh man, it looks just pristine. It just looks so cool. And then here is Gilgamesh, I believe. And then he has different type of weapons from each of the Final Fantasies, like the Buster Sword there. And man, it's amazing. This thing looks really cool. When I saw these, I was like, wow, these would look amazing if I put frames on them and put on my wall. So that's my plan for like this empty space behind me. I'm definitely going to do that. And then here is an All Might, which is like old Japanese samurai style, which is really cool. This is one of my favorite ones. And then another one that I got is this one, which is an ode to Final Fantasy. And so here, I don't know who that is exactly, but here you can see like the white mage, the samurai, the monk, and the old school black mage. It looks kind of like BB, which is cool. So this was awesome. This is one of my favorite prints, for sure. So yeah, BD Judkins, he's a Kyo Pop Art on Instagram, and he was really cool. And he also showed me something really awesome that he's going to be unveiling soon, like a little sneak peek, but I'm going to leave that to him to show that. Oh, and one other thing that I got was this really cool coaster. That's Guardians of the Galaxy coaster, because I love the Guardians, especially Star-Lord. Chris Pratt's awesome. So this was one of the cool little takeaways, because I always have coffee or some kind of water or some kind of hydration drink right here near my desk. So got a little coaster now, which is cool. And since I'm on the topic of stuff that I have, I also gave away these cosplay cards when I was at the convention, which people seem to really like. I have a little Joker here with Sean Price and then Sean Pye in the corner, and then at the back's like my Instagram and Twitter and stuff. And by the way, check out me on Instagram and Twitter if you want to. Yeah, Sean Pye Price. So it was just cool. There's a lot of cool stuff there. I wish I had more space in my luggage to get more things, but as of now, I'm very happy with my haul. With my overall takeaways, I'd probably say that this is one of the best convention experiences I've attended, mainly because the level of extrovertism and directness of people was just on a whole different level than what I'm used to. From my conventions experiences in the Philippines and Singapore, people are a bit more conservative in the way that they don't want to bother you in any way or be intrusive, and so they wouldn't like run up to you and just start yelling and, you know, being very direct about their thoughts and emotions. Instead, they would kind of more so gaze and appreciate from afar and be like, wow, that's really good. And when they go up to you, they would say in the nicest, you know, softest way possible without trying to make you feel uncomfortable. And I think that's a really cool thing. But with the American culture that I experienced, it was a lot more direct. I had a lot of people just run up to me and just start yelling and doing poses and like shouting about how excited they were. And maybe it had something to do with COVID and people haven't been outside as much lately, so all this energy spent like just being unleashed at the same time. But I found it very, very cool, and I just liked it. I don't really know how to explain it. It was so very outgoing, and it really played to my extroverted nature, and I think I just really resonated with it a lot. And overall, like a lot of people online, they say the Dragon Con is one of the most friendliest conventions that you'll ever attend. And I gotta say they're right. You know, I don't have any con in the US to really compare it to, but on its own, it was a phenomenal experience. And I met so many people. I became friends with so many amazing, genuinely kind people who are now just always connected and pushing me to become and do more and experience and see more. And I'm just so thankful for all the really awesome people that I met throughout my experiences. And yeah, my takeaway is, you know, if you have a chance to do something, just go do it. Dragon Con, I was hesitant, but I'm glad I did it because it was such a great experience, and it makes me more hopeful for cons in the future too. So yeah, that's about sums up my experiences at Dragon Con. I'm sure I could have spoken a lot more about it, and there's a ton of stories that I just can't share online that were incredible. And so I hope if you have a chance to attend a convention, as long as it's safe and you're comfortable, go ahead and do it. And if you want to reach out and have any, ask me any questions about my experiences, or if you want any advice for any kind of cosplaying stuff or anything fitness and health in general, please reach out either on YouTube or any of my social medias. I try to answer all of them as much as I can. And yeah, if you like the video, please consider subscribing and dropping a comment and like. I really appreciate it, and sharing with a friend. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have a good one. See ya.